This is the closing market report for Friday on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. On the phone right now with Bill Moore of Price Futures Group as we wrap up another day in the ag marketplace. Bill, it's been pretty eventful with the Supreme Court striking down President Trump's tariffs. We had export sales. What's been going on in the marketplace for the prices today?
Yeah, it's a lot going on pertaining to the first thing you mentioned. The market's unsure about what that legislation is going to mean to the prices. You know, Trump said there's a lot of different ways he can do the tariffs, and he is going to meet with President Xi in the beginning of April in Beijing. It hasn't really impacted the prices so far. There was the beans had a quite a volatile time, I think, when it was first announced, because I'm looking at my 5-minute chart. I think it first came in this morning. The market will tell you when it came out at 9 o'clock. The market went from 11.48 to by 9:30, 11:22. So dropped about 26 cents. And then it's come back to where it's only a few cents lower. So I think the jury's out on the impact on that on the Supreme Court ruling. Other than that, we did have pretty decent exports today. Corn was 1.5 million metric tons under last week's 2.1, but at the top end of the range. Beans, 864,000, well over last week's 283,000 at the top end of the range. So those were good. Second and last day of the Ag Outlook Forum, which is a 102nd year we've had that. Pretty much are saying what we've been saying all week, 94 million acres in the corn, down 4.8 from last year, 85 million acres in soys, up 3.8 from last year, a corn yield of 183, a bean yield of 53. Other than that, there's really not much other news going forward. It is the lunar holiday for China, so they haven't really been doing any. They've been inactive this week because of that. The weather in South America remains pretty good. The harvest is maybe a third done down there. Going forward, the market's the exports in South America are going to dominate, over the next, between now and the end of the month, export support because the market then breaks, of course, and the South American crop, however big it is, and that includes the record crop in Brazil, bean crop in Brazil, and the record corn crop in Argentina. We'll see what it comes out. They've had the bean crop up to 182, 183, some estimates, but Brazil's own estimators had it at 178, I think, the last time around. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that. Those are the factors impacting grains going forward. Livestock-wise, looking at a market that's it's a little lower today. We had April cattle down $1.70. The market has been congesting right after a $40 run-up since almost $40 since the end of November. But it's kind of sideways trading today. There's profit taking, evening up positions. You got a on-feed report that comes out today at 2 o'clock, cattle on feed, 98.4 cattle on feed. They're looking for 96 placements percent of a year ago. That's an 8-year low, 87% in marketings. Supplies are still tight. The cash market's strong. We are on the verge of this spring of the barbecue season, the best demand period of the year for beef and pork. And I think that alone will bring cattle prices and hog prices higher through the end of February.
All right, lots of great information today, Bill. How can people get in touch with your newsletter?
630-947-5176, wmore@pricegroup.com. Check out my newsletter, Agmaster, www.pricegroup.com, the company website. Look at the bios of Jack Scoville and myself. We've both been there a long time. We'd love to help you out.
That again was Bill Moore of Price Futures Group. We'll look at the numbers next.
Growers have spoken, and they're raving about Storin corn herbicide. We surveyed over 1,000 customers who've made the switch to Storin, and 99% said they'd recommend it to a friend. That's right, 99%. With a 9 out of 10 satisfaction rating, it's clear why Storin is the herbicide customers can count on. But don't just take our word for it. Ask your Syngenta retailer or visit storinreviews.com to read testimonials from Storin users near you. Always read and follow label instructions.
At the close, March corn up 1 3/4 at 427.5. March soybeans down 3.5 at 1137.5. March soybean meal up 5 even at 309.80. Soybean oil down 76 cents at 58.92. Chicago wheat up 14 even at 573.5. Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 6 3/4 at $5.72 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up 4 3/4 at $5.87 1/4. March oats went unchanged at $3.30 even. On the Merc, April live cattle down $1.42 at $2.42 even. March feeders down $2.25 at $3.68.02. April lean hogs up 22 cents at $93.67. Pork cutout went unchanged at $103.40. In March, Class 3 milk down 46 cents at $16.48. That's been a check of the closing market prices. Thanks again to Bill Moore of Price Futures Group for joining us today here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, where Iowa Ag matters. I'm Riley Smith.